When you think of the dawn of modern cities, what comes to mind? Probably the smog-filled streets of London or the bustling avenues of New York, right? We often picture these Western giants as the pioneers of everything from streetlights to sewers. But what if I told you that the story of urban living is far more global and much more colorful than that? Today, we're taking a journey off the beaten path to explore the incredible, often overlooked history of public utilities in some of the world's other great cities. Forget London for a minute. Let's talk about Istanbul, Calcutta, and Buenos Aires. Let's start in the heart of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul, or Constantinople as it was known for centuries. Long before modern plumbing became a buzzword in the West, this city had a sophisticated relationship with water. The Romans and Byzantines built incredible aqueducts, like the Valens Aqueduct, and massive underground cisterns such as the Basilica Cistern to supply the city with fresh water. These weren't just functional, they were architectural marvels. Imagine a city with a reliable water source that could withstand sieges, all thanks to infrastructure built over 1,000 years earlier. When the Ottomans took over, they didn't just maintain this system. They expanded upon it, building hundreds of public fountains, known as Kesmen Sebel. These weren't just taps. They were works of art, intricately decorated with tiles and calligraphy, providing free water to everyone. It was a system built on a philosophy of public good and charity. While London was still grappling with contaminated wells, Istanbul's citizens could draw clean water from beautifully crafted public fountains. It shows a completely different approach to urban life, where access to water was seen as a right and a blessing, not just a commodity. Now let's fast forward a bit to sanitation. Sewage is not a glamorous topic, but it's crucial for a healthy city. While cities like Paris and London were slowly building their famous sewer networks in the 19th century, the Ottoman approach was again quite different. For centuries, Istanbul relied on a more decentralized system. Many houses had their own cesspits, and a network of private and public latrines existed. It wasn't the centralized underground system we know today, but it was a functional solution for its time. The real push for modern underground sewage came in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, driven by public health concerns and the desire to modernize along European lines. But even then, the old ways persisted alongside the new, creating a fascinating blend of ancient and modern infrastructure. It reminds us that progress isn't always a straight line. It's often a messy, complex layering of different ideas and technologies. Let's travel east now to the Indian subcontinent and the city of Calcutta, now Kolkata, the jewel in the crown of the British Raj. The story here is a tale of two cities within one. The British built their white town with all the modern amenities they were used to back home. They laid down filtered water pipelines and an extensive underground drainage system, turning their part of the city into a bastion of European-style health and hygiene. This was a monumental engineering feat. The Tala tank, completed in 1911, was the largest overhead water reservoir in the world at the time, a symbol of imperial power and engineering prowess. It provided chlorinated, filtered water to the European quarters and some parts of the Indian city. But what about the Black Town, where the majority of the Indian population lived? Their experience was vastly different. For a long time, they relied on traditional water sources, the Hooghly River, ponds, and wells, which were often polluted. This stark contrast in infrastructure created a literal public health divide. Cholera and other waterborne diseases were rampant in the Indian quarters, while being relatively contained in the European areas. This wasn't just about pipes and drains. It was a physical manifestation of colonial inequality. Eventually, the system was expanded, but the story of Calcutta's utilities is a powerful reminder that infrastructure is never neutral. It's always tied up with politics, power, and social justice. Who gets clean water and who does not is a question that cities all over the world are still grappling with today. Finally, let's head to the southern hemisphere, to the Paris of South America, Buenos Aires, Argentina. In the late 19th century, Buenos Aires was booming. Immigration from Europe was transforming it into a cosmopolitan metropolis, and with that boom came a desperate need for modern utilities. The turning point was a devastating yellow fever epidemic in 1871, which tragically highlighted the dangers of the city's poor sanitation. This catastrophe spurred the government into action. They embarked on one of the most ambitious public works projects in the world at the time. And they did it with style. Just look at the Palacio de Aguas Corrientes, which translates to the Palace of Running Waters. You might mistake it for an opulent opera house or a royal palace, but this magnificent building is actually a water pumping station, covered in over 300,000 glazed terracotta tiles imported from England and Belgium. It was designed to house the city's water tanks and pumps. The message was clear: public health is a treasure, and the infrastructure that supports it should be celebrated. It wasn't just a functional building hidden away. It was a civic monument. This shows an immense sense of national pride and the belief that public utilities were the foundation of a modern, civilized, and beautiful city. While other cities were hiding their infrastructure underground, Buenos Aires put it on a pedestal. They built a sewer system that was, at the time, more extensive than that of many European capitals. What do these stories from Istanbul, Calcutta, and Buenos Aires tell us? They show that the development of modern cities was a truly global phenomenon, with each culture bringing its own values, challenges, and unique solutions to the table. In Istanbul, we see a legacy of imperial grandeur mixed with a deep-seated philosophy of public charity. In Calcutta, we see the stark realities of colonialism etched into the very pipes beneath the ground. And in Buenos Aires, we see a young nation's ambition and pride expressed through monumental public works. The familiar narrative of London and New York inventing urban life is just one small piece of a much larger, more fascinating puzzle. The reality is that cities all over the world were innovating, adapting, and struggling to create healthy, livable spaces for their citizens. They faced similar problems, but came up with vastly different solutions, shaped by their unique histories, cultures, and political realities. So next time you turn on a tap or walk under a streetlight, remember the hidden, global history beneath your feet. It's a story of human ingenuity, inequality, and the endless quest to build a better world, one pipe and one light at a time. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey. If you found this dive into urban history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories from the crossroads of history and technology. Let me know in the comments which city's history you'd like to explore next. See you in the next video.